Welcome. So this live is about slavery and how these fools, these Bible study people are interpreting the Bible. And it's not even interpreting the Bible, it's the absolute willful ignorance of a bunch of people who think that because there was a female rabbi, I just came across a live that really, I was in shock that people can be this ignorant. So it was a female rabbi who was talking about the Old Testament and the New Testament, that even Jesus never said anything against slavery. It was more about treating them with kindness, that you had to take care of them. But no way in the Old Testament or the New Testament. Can you imagine this shit? This is 2025. We're in the 21st century. It's the age of Aquarius. We're moving into Satya Yuga. And we got people younger than me talking about how no way does it say you're not allowed to own slaves. Are you fucking kidding me? In 2025, we're discussing the Bible not saying you do not need to. Seriously, man, I guess people really did need the 10 commandments, right? They really needed to know, yeah, thou shalt not kill. You're not gonna fuck your brother's wife. Like, these like basic levels of human decency, you had to teach that? Am I naive? No, seriously, sometimes I wonder, what the fuck is going on? Am I the one? Listen, if you're going through depression, right, in a world filled with assholes like that, talking about the merits of slavery and basically saying, and I'm going to say it like that, because you see, you've got in convincing statements with the attention span of most of us. We pretty much we all have ADHD, okay? With the, doom scrolling. You have 2 minutes to make your point. Slavery is not okay. I don't give a fuck what scripture, what Bible, what Torah, Talmud. I don't give a fuck. If it says that slavery is okay as long as you actually take care of the slaves, you're fine. You can't abuse slaves. It's the only thing. Well, if it doesn't say, but to bring in Yeshua's name in this, do you see what? And to realize, as we all do, as all educated theologians, you want to talk about real Bible scholars? We're talking about real people who teach this shit with honor and integrity in the Ivy League schools, who know about the Council of Nicaea. They all know. And how this book was put together and pretty much spackled together. And anything that was considered too dangerous, too esoteric to give people the idea that they were sovereign in their own being, that would not be put in. I mean, we know this. And this is what we're dealing. Yep, your naive human nature is not spiritual nature. I don't agree with that. I think you're cynical. Sorry, Deborah. I think you're cynical. Because it wasn't even a question. It was rhetorical. I'm not naive. I believe in the integrity of the human soul, and what we're seeing with what's happening in Gaza, with also the Zionists, we're seeing a whole population of people who are so brainwashed, it's fucking frightening. So brainwashing, we're getting to see, it's almost like a lab of people that have grown there since 1948. And you're seeing the results of fear, racism, rage, and greed. Okay? And we're seeing it. So now we can understand how easily racism, pollinates the planet, and how it actually has people literally talking about the value of slavery. I'm in shock. Now, please note, she was a rabbi. She was a female. Do you know that when Barbara Streisand made the movie Yentl, I watched it like 3 times. I thought she got so much shit for making that movie. She produced it, directed it, starred in it. And it's about a woman who poses as a boy, as a young man, so that she can learn the Torah, so she can possibly be a rabbi. Okay? That's a form of slavery. Being someone's chattel. Women were thought to be chattels. Until the 1970s, the Catholic Church thought that the women's soul, well, the soul of a feminine, this is not just the Catholic Church. The Bhagavad Gita says that we're subpar souls. Many of the religions think that to be born a woman is actually, on the spiritual end, that you've been punished, that you fucked up. But for the Catholic Church, it was, and this is my mother, okay, French, okay, highly educated, taught Latin, okay, she would dream in Latin sometimes, okay, so she was highly educated, and who told me, yeah, they recognize that women have equal souls to men in the 1970s. Yeah. Just like during that same time when women in America were allowed their first credit card, their first own bank account, their first ability to go get a mortgage. That's a form of slavery. Okay? Slavery has many types of chains. But to be honest, there's so many wonderful people. And wonderful, wonderful people. There are people who were members of the KKK, talk about being bred to be a racist. Basically brainwashed and woke up on their own. I don't know what happens. I remember seeing a lot of interviews of these young men who got, or older, like in their 30s, going, I don't know. I woke up one day. I saw the humanity of my black brothers and sisters, some of them as far as being married to black women. And really on their knees, like trying to repair, what they had said, done, thought about people with, so I don't believe that people can't change. And I do believe in the essential beauty of souls. And so it's brainwashing that creates sadists and psychopaths. It's certainly not the soul. The soul doesn't come in being a complete asshole. That's taught. And I think we know that. And racism is a mark of stupidity, honestly, and lack of education, period. So, yeah. So here I am watching a live, and I was like, I can't believe, I don't have patience, honestly. You probably have. I have patience for the right things, not for injustice, and not for, you're not going to fucking talk about slavery in a matter-of-fact way. Like, what was her name? Jillian Michaels, who was on the panel. I think, what was it? I don't know if you guys have seen it, but you should have seen it. Jillian Michaels was talking about slavery it's been around since 2,000 years. I'm sorry, chick, do you really think you just taught me something new? You don't think I knew that slavery has been around for like 3,000 years? But that's okay. Let's keep doing it because, we did it 3,000 years ago. If you've never seen the movie Spartacus, it's a famous story. It's kind of like a Robin Hood story. Not the TV show, though that's good too. But the actual movie with Kirk Douglas. Watch that. It's a fucking phenomenal movie because it's about gladiators who broke away from their masters. And of course they don't make it. Just, spoiler alert. But for like 3 years, they feel like men. They're treated like men. They can marry the women they love. They can have children with them. All of that happens. And okay, so now we have an idea of what slavery would have been for a Roman, right? We also know, if you've ever studied Roman culture and how they would treat their slaves, it wasn't pretty. The Bible saying nothing about, it doesn't say anything about not having them. Common sense should tell you should own a human being. Common fucking sense. It's that simple. You're either an asshole or you're a good person. You're either in the dark or you're in the light. It's really that simple. Indentured servitude, the difference between that and American slavery with African people? Well, indentured, and I don't think people know the difference. 7 years. You had 7 years and then you were free. 7 fucking years. That's all you had to do, 7 years. Then you were free. And there were other fuckeries that would happen. One of the things that I read, there was a book that I couldn't buy. It was like $200. It was a history book. Did you know, and I forgot the state. I don't know if it was Missouri, Iowa. I don't even remember. But I remember that if a white master committed a crime, even if it was the death penalty, he could actually choose one of his slaves to actually serve the time, or actually be, his life taken out. So he could actually have his slave be a proxy to pay for his crime. Swear to God. I didn't even know that. So there were awful things that happened to indentured servants. And we already know this. Some of them didn't survive the 7 years. They didn't make it. They were starved, beaten, and so forth. So we know that. But for anyone to say, well, as long as you treat them well, you're okay. Do you know that my family lived in Morocco, in Algiers. And people are because of the French debacle in Morocco and Algiers, to name two, okay? We had a house in that part of the world, in Algiers. I believe it was Algiers, yeah, if I remember. My mother told me this story where this couple brought in their little slave girl. She was a 10-year-old girl. And they wouldn't let her eat. In that part of the world, in those days, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, probably still today, families would sell their children, okay, so they could eat. They figure we'll sacrifice this one to take care of the other ones. And then idiots will say, why are they still having babies? Why are they still having sex? I hear stories like that. The comments sometimes are so unhinged, it's amazing. And so she came to the house, this little 10-year-old girl. And my mom said, oh no, this is my house. She gets to eat, and she eats with us. And my father tried, when in Rome, do the Romans. She went, fuck that. Fuck the Romans. Okay, this is my house. But that's when I first found out at the age of 6 that slavery still existed in some parts of the world, including Niger. Okay? So now what? Does that make you a good Christian to own a human being? And, because it doesn't say in the Bible. Jesus doesn't mention never owning slaves. It's never mentioned. He doesn't talk about it. Maybe he didn't talk about it because he thought it was pretty obvious. And most likely he did talk about it. But Constantine and his bishops knew the game, and they never put it in. Did you ever think of that? Because that document that you guys are so quick to start wars over and literally put down gay people. Did you know there was a Pope Joan? Look it up. Look it up right now. Go on eBay. Look up book, Pope Joan. And you'll find it. You'll find also a movie with Ingrid Bergman either directing or doing it. I forgot exactly the details, but there's at least 2 movies that there was once a female pope in the 9th century. She passed as a boy and grew up to be a young man, a bishop, a cardinal, and she became they actually voted for her and she was in. It's a long story. I won't bore you with it unless you want me to tell you, but that's well known for I've known that for 20 years. And did you know gay men were married by the Catholic Church in the 9th century? They never talk about that either. So, the Bible has been spliced, edited, rewritten, unwritten, basically whatever, so many times. Acharya S. was a great scholar who wrote about the connection between Bacchus, Osiris, and Jesus. All of them, the death, the resurrection, and they talk about, and there's other religions, Sumerians, stories of the resurrection and all that. But, I still believe in Yeshua because I've seen him and felt the energy. And I do know that we as humans tend to repeat certain patterns, certain behaviors, certain stories. There's just so many ways you can reinvent a life, a story, a path, a love story, whatever, or a grief. Eventually, all has been written and all has been said. So I wasn't surprised to hear that. But her name was Acharya S., and you can look at her books, and she's definitely doesn't believe in, X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm glad let me read your comment, my love. Where are you? It's frustrating to have to dig for accurate history too. Indoctrination is real. Indoctrination is absolutely real. Absolutely real. Still so much slavery going on today, pure madness and greed. Absolutely. And there's various weird forms of slavery. And so these people were very, I tend to stay away from anything that says Christian scholars, because the minute they say that, I know they're full of shit. I'd rather deal with theologians who are aware, awake, and they're still devoted to Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and whatever. You get my point, right? But they want the truth, and the truth is right there in front of your face. This is why the Scofield Bible was so easily created. I didn't even know about it until this year, that the rapture is a lie. It was written in 1830. There is no rapture. If you get a Bible from the 1700s, be it French, German, Italian, or Spanish, there is no rapture. Do you know what that did to me when I found out that I'd been played my entire fucking life to believe that there was a rapture of some kind? Mel Gibson is doing a whole movie on it. That was shocking to me, and madly disappointing, because here we go again. Here we go again with more edits, more inserts, more, they'll never know. And by the time they know, it won't matter. I mean, I don't understand. Do people really believe in God? Do people really believe in this energy that has created not just this little planet, this beautiful little planet filled with tribal issues and creating racism and multiple religions that have created chaos, not unity? So this entity, this source, this incredible, magnificent intelligence that isn't just handling this little planet, this didn't create just this, but created universes with various planets and life forms, humanoid and other types of life forms. Meanwhile, people are still kicking rocks on, is the planet round or flat? When Arabs calculated through various means that sure enough, the planet was round 800 years ago. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. I think there's a disconnect of intelligence. Read the Bible all you want. Enjoy it. If it gives you a feeling of pleasure, especially if you read the New Testament and you feel connected to Yeshua, because what else is there? They burnt a lot of books. They burnt a lot of scrolls. I remember Cosmos with Carl Sagan walking through, the very bad CGI or whatever they had in the background. But he's almost, you can tell he's really, this Cosmos show came out in, 1979 or 1980. And you can feel his melancholy when he talks about what have we lost in the final sacking and plundering of the Alexandria Library, which is shown in the movie Agora, Agora. When the Christians took hold of Egypt, right, Alexandria, and they did the final plundering, and the high priest, by the way, Agora, you'll love it because it's about a woman who is a scientist, a mathematic genius, and she's considered a pagan. Well, why? Well, one, she's a woman teaching men. And she's attractive and they can't handle her brains. And it's about the final sacking of a culture that revered intelligence, curiosity, and discussion. And what happens to her? It's a true story. It's based on a true story. And it was the final plunder of the library, of the great library. And I remember having a past life, not as, but I had a past life in that timeline, which I remember with when I was 18 years old. Long story short, I remembered at 18, I couldn't figure out it made no sense. Because I was thinking, wait, what dynasty could they? Oh, it wasn't a dynasty. It was something. It was okay. It was after the Ptolemies lost their hold. It was when the Romans came, and so it was around 440 A.D. The final sacking, or whatever else was left in there, and of course, burnt, destroyed, lost forever. So when I hear people who thump the Bible and who think they know what they're saying. Oh, it didn't say this in the Bible. Half the shit in there is a fucking lie or stolen from other ancient fucking civilization. I love the movie, the movie on Moses. Great movie. Love the tablets. Yes, the burning bush. Love that. But they never left Egypt. They never were in Egypt. And Egyptologists and anthropologists are now realizing, oh shit, we believe this old book, but actually, as we excavate, there's no fucking evidence. That's why I get irritated. Because we have put our entire consciousness for 2,000 years on a damn near fiction or something that was edited out from an ancient other culture. And we put our life and tears and blood. Do you know people wanted to translate the Bible from Latin into the common language, and they were put on the rack for daring to translate it. Can you imagine? Into the common language. Like I said, I really don't understand the level of ignorance that, and these are people going to college, just so you know, because I'm a Bible scholar. Oh, I have a master's in Bible study. Oh, okay. Have you read anything else like the Nag Hammadi? Were you curious to maybe look at what else was out there? Have you done comparative religions to see, oh shit, this is very familiar? Isis, Bacchus, Dionysus, same thing. And Yeshua, the resurrection. Have you done comparative fucking studies? Oh no, but I'm an expert on the Bible. Yeah, but on nothing else. And I'm supposed to bend the knee to you because you're now telling me that, see what I'm saying? And so, I don't know. What do you want to do with people like that? I don't know. They are assisting in their own brainwashing. They refuse to know the truth. They refuse to do comparative religions, from Taoism to Buddhism, to the various differences of Buddhism in Tibet, as opposed to, say, for example, India, as opposed to, say, Japan, China. It's bizarre to me. And there's various energies around the Muslim tradition and the Quran. Last year, there were more people that decided to become Muslim than they had ever seen. It had a lot to do with what they saw, the way the Palestinians dealt with one betrayal after another from the world leaders, and how they trusted in Allah, God, implicitly, with a soft humility that they had never seen in their own religion. In fact, some of them had been atheists or weren't sure or were on the fence. I'm not promoting the Quran. I'm just telling you what I saw. I don't follow any religion. None. But do I admire some of the wisdoms? Yes. But I'm getting tired of the Bible. And I'm getting very tired of these weird fascist people who keep pushing that as the only truth. My God, this is the only truth. And that goes with a lot of religions. There is no book that is the only truth. There's only God's truth. And you can't give that to me. I give it to myself in nature, in connection, in meditation, in prayer. You can't give it to me. You're not my middleman. There's no book. There's me and God. And it's the same God for all of us. There's not a God for this one and a God for that one. There's just one beautiful, unbelievably huge spirit that was the creator or creatress. And the fact that we're in 2025 with all this technology, you see this kind of stupidity I could understand in the 1940s, 20s, fuck, even 70s, because, there's no real access to shit. But now, you've got AI. You've got Wikipedia, though I wouldn't trust that for shit, but there you go. It's a beginning. You've got books on tapes. You can listen and educate yourself on a fucking walk on your treadmill. And you can learn about other people's religions, philosophies, belief systems, and why and where it came from. You can actually understand the nature of what makes people look up to God in its various translations of cultures. And I think we don't need a book to say there's basic philosophies of human dignity. Do no harm. And enslaving a human being is harmful. It is. And there's nothing you can show me that will ever let me think otherwise. It's not in the book. It's not in the good book doesn't mention that you can't own slaves, just that you have to be kind. Sorry, I don't care. Your book's been trampled on, ripped, edited, lied about, shredded, and repurposed, and then superglued together. Tell me I'm wrong, and why am I wrong? And this is where we're at. Language and culture of Yeshua. Yeah, the real Yeshua. See, the minute I said remember I did that live? I think you were on that, Mama Yeti. When I said that most likely, because I thought of the personality of Yeshua, right? Because, many of us have had visitations of Yeshua. I'm not kidding. It's not me having it. It's a lot of us are having it in our, we're like, what the fuck? Wait, hang on. During our meditation, minding our business, and boom, here comes this glorious divine masculine who's here to sit or to stand or to say or to show whatever, right? So with that said, and the turning of the tables, I went, no one goes, a Yeshua like that, a divine masculine like that, he did it because children were involved. It had nothing to do with just fucking gold pieces. He didn't give a fuck about money. It was something far, far, far nefarious. Well, no one wrote about that. Why would they? Did I just tell you that the Council of Nicaea, he had all his bishops and they were editing the book? Then this is known. So why would they put that? They took out reincarnation. That's known. They took out reincarnation. It was in there originally about the soul perpetuating itself, the soul traveling out of the body. It was in there. Do you know why a lot of people were attracted to the Hare Krishna movement in the 1960s? Because these kids had dropped LS, D, and they saw shit. And they met this little brown man, Prabhupada, a little man in these Hindu robes, who was preaching a blue man, Krishna. No, trust me, I've been in their temples, they're amazing. And basically was talking about off planets. If you actually read some of this stuff, you'll go, holy crap, they're talking about other species on other planets. And these hippie kids who had no connection to their parents, do you know what I'm saying? Because they were rebellious. They had just dropped some shit. And their minds had been expanded due to the hallucinations and the visions they were having, right? And here was this little man who seemed to have the answers about what they were experiencing in their internal world. And so for a time, the Krishna movement literally, the guy did it in was it 8 years or 9 years? He translated books. He wrote books. He opened temples all over the world. And in the 70s, there was a time when you would have Hare Krishna people, right, in their robes, saffron robes, usually white guys and chicks, and black guys with their head shaved a certain way, and all of them wearing bindis and what have you, right? And selling all kinds of different books. But what was interesting about the books is they were expansive, not claustrophobic. And unfortunately, they've suffered their own shit that went down. Because, people, not everyone comes from a place of healed mental health. And so some shit went down, which I won't go into today, but suffice it to say, if you know about it, you know what I'm talking about. But ultimately, those books still rock because it's expansive. The Vedic scriptures are old. They're older than anything. They're older than the Bible. They're older than the Quran. They're older. They're even older than Buddhism. They're old. And the magic in some of this and the way it explains, like there was a movie, I think it was 12 hours long or something insane, and I watched it actually. It was called the Mahabharat by Peter someone. He did it in the 80s, 81. And it's expansive. Sure, it's mythology. But is it? Or was it showing us a planet when it was in 5D before it completely collapsed into 3D? That's really the question. Why am I bringing that up? Because you would think that if you really are a scholar of God, F the Bible or whatever, but if you really are a scholar, you will read other people's ancient texts that precede your text, that precede your scriptures, your holy books, preceding yours. You would think you'd have enough brains to go, this is fascinating. Let me read this. Let me read at least half of it. Let me skim through it. Fuck it. I'll just, I'll look through it. There's an incredible content creator that's creating some amazing things about how the Arabs, because being an Arab doesn't mean you're Muslim. You could be a Christian Arab. Can you imagine that? It's crazy, right? Okay. Well, anyway, being sarcastic here. But they're showing how Arabs and the Blackamoors were incredible. I mean, fucking algebra came from the Arabs. Pretty much damn near almost everything we take for granted, including glasses, the optical lens, Arabs. Surgical tools for heart and brain, Arabs. Why is that so hard to teach to other people? And why don't we have the kind of curiosity that wants to know all about our beginnings and who brought things to our table of knowledge? This is what I mean. Racism is a cancer. And it is, and when people hold on to their holy book as the only thing to that's it. This is and I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, Christians, this is, my God, your God, your exclusive little puppet. That's not how it works. And when I think of all the religions that you and I have prayed, religions we don't fucking remember. Do we know what they were praying to in Atlantis? Do we have a clue what they were doing in Lemuria? What about Troy? The city, the Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships. What were they praying to? And beyond these countries we've forgotten. Countries we don't even remember existed. When America was linked to Europe, when people could actually cross over by foot before it split, what were we praying to? And where were our ceremonies? Did we have a statue? Was it a bowl? Was it a tree? What in the hell was it? And it's weird to me that people don't want to know because it's, the fear of God. Well, I'm sorry, but God, the one that actually made us all, including your dumbass, would never put fear in you. That's the last thing this entity would want to have you go through is fear. But it did give you free will, and you can do whatever the hell you want with that free will. It's a magic ball. It's like a genie lamp. Whatever you wish is my command. Your fear commands your reality. Brainwashing is a bitch. And I'm not even going to go into people talking about Jesus was in Utah. I'm not even going to go there. Do you understand? But there are people that will fucking die on the hill saying that's what happened. But he didn't go to India. That's what kills me. He went to Utah, but he never went to India. He didn't learn shit from those people. He never went to Tibet. That never happened. And God forbid Egypt. Hell no. But he went to Utah. I don't know what to say. I think I'll stop there because honestly, I'm going to get myself in trouble. It's like the level of logic is insane, unhinged, stupid. I mean, I feel like I want George Carlin. You know who the two men I miss right now? Like you wouldn't fucking believe? George Carlin and Anthony Bourdain. I would want them two at my table. I would love to interview these two people and go, please, great men, you sarcastic, brilliant minds, fucking let it rip. Tell us what the hell we're doing, because I'd like to know. Don't be politically correct. Just rip through it. I would love to channel these two people because, or I wish they were still alive, because I was at a museum and saw so many cultures taking Zeus and other gods and mixing them with theirs. Absolutely, right? And oh my God, yes, yeah, Lady Bees, right? Humans like to do this. We make our symbols that express our hearts. It would be at least more lovely. I just love your mind. Thank you, love. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, and Robin Williams, oh my God. He would have us peeing in our pants. We'd be laughing so hard. We wouldn't be able to breathe for 2 or 3 minutes. So, yeah. But you see, I'm going to tell you something. George Carlin just died, thank God, of old age. God bless his soul. But let's be honest, these other two men, Robin Williams and Anthony and him. Anthony traveled in so many wild places you and I will never go. Seeing poverty, like I remember I went to Jamaica I was 16. My father said, what do you want for your 16th birthday? And I was being sarcastic. I said, I want to go to Jamaica as a joke. We actually went. But I remember the poverty, the shanties. Not a joke. I've seen poverty in Hong Kong, incredible poverty. Philippines, incredible poverty, right? Macau, no poverty. I didn't see poverty because there's a lot of money there. But what I'm saying to you is when you see that kind of poverty, and I saw a small percentage compared to what Anthony saw. He said when he went to Cambodia, he said, if I had seen Kissinger, I would have beat the fuck out of him. God knows what he saw in Cambodia to make him say that. God knows. You know, for a long, long time, and maybe you guys are too young to remember, but there were landmines everywhere. There were landmines in that part of the world, and I think we've gotten them, probably most of them out. But for a while, in the 80s, 70s, they were still out there. And innocent kids would walk the field and boom, it was done. It was over, or lose a leg or whatever. This was happening a lot in parts of Africa as well. I remember Princess Diana was involved in bringing awareness to that, you know? But the thing about it is that you've got, and this is where you have to kind of look in the mirror. I want you guys to look in the mirror after we're done here, because I have to go in a minute, actually, and smile at yourself, because you understand you're kind, you're intelligent, you're curious. And I'm not saying that because you're listening to me, because you're listening to tons of people, just like me. And we're talking about the same vibe. You know, we're pro human rights. On my caption today, I put clean water, shelter, and food is a human right. This is not a discussion. But our political leaders, some of them are actually voting it down. No, it's not a human right. Swear to God. Can't make this shit up. So when you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't think you're good enough or powerful enough, let me tell you something. You know what makes you amazing? Your empathy. Your empathy stops reincarnation in 3D. Why? In empathy, and this is what I'm going to leave you with, when you are empathetic, that was my download months ago. I knew self-love was important. That was something I discovered when I visited the grandmother ayahuasca, right? But empathy is when you actually feel the pain of someone. When you see these mothers watching their little 2-year-olds dying of starvation, it's not compassion you feel. You're fucking ripped apart and you're like, what the fuck? I feel helpless. I don't know what to do. No, don't say that to yourself. Say to yourself, my God, I actually give a fuck and I care so much that I feel it in my blood. I feel it in my bones. And that right there precludes you from having to reincarnate again, to be that mother, to watch her child starve. And there will be many souls on this planet who will have to be that mother. Then they'll have to come back and be that child. Then they'll have to come back and be the father who watches his wife watching the baby die. And then he'll have to come back and be that doctor who's trying to amputate a leg without morphine. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are people, there's a huge number of people who will have to experience this to understand, to gain compassion and then empathy. You're not one of them. You don't need to bleed to feel the pain. You don't need to bleed to feel the pain of is one of the things that stops you from going in the karmic wheel of 3D. Take it to the bank. Self-love, forgiveness, empathy, the kind I just mentioned. Because what they've been saying to us, right, for a long time, oh, but you have to learn the lessons, and I got to come back, and I got to learn this, and I got to be blind, and now I'm going to be in a wheelchair, and that you don't need that. You're done. You've had enough incarnations. You don't need it. You don't listen. You don't need to be 5'2" and blind, and now I'm going to be 5'6" and blind, and then I'm going to be 6'2" and in a wheelchair, and then I'll be this race in a wheelchair and that race in a wheelchair, and I'll have that. No, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it anymore. You've learned a lot. David Icke talks about in his Reveal, the book, The Reveal, he talks about we don't need to learn anymore. We need to go on. I disagree with him 100%. There are a lot of motherfuckers walking on the planet. They need to reincarnate again and again and again. You're not one of them. You're not. You're not like them. That's what you got to take to the bank. This is what you have to look in the mirror and give yourself some fucking credit for being a decent, fabulous, loving, compassionate, generous human being. And you have to know that there are people with billions of dollars. There are people that are leaders, leaders. There are people who are living on the backs and sweat of others, and they definitely need to incarnate again and again and again, but you won't be one of them. And I'm saying it again and again so you get it. Take it to the bank. Okay? I need you to know that because I need you to fucking cross over. It's moksha. Thank you, my love. So you're there. Do you understand? Naturally, Natalie. Oh my God, I was just listening to Carl Jung about this and how empathy, self-love, compassion, it's moksha. Wonderful. Thank you, my love. It rings through the body, the pain that person is suffering. Yes, yes, Red Mama, yes, yes. I'll never donate to charity. I donate to people directly. I don't care if it's $5, but I just donated to a young man, Mohammed, who I know for a fact is for real. My son and I have been following, and I sent him like €7. It's all I had. That's all. It was the only way I can send it to him, right? But I sent it, not because I want to say to you, oh, you congratulate. No, because I'd rather send money, a little bit of whatever I have here or a little bit there to real fucking people. I'd rather see a homeless a person on the street and walk in the grocery store and say, do you need water? And then do you like cookies? Can I get you a sandwich? What kind? Because some people are vegetarians. I had a homeless guy who had a beautiful little boy, and I gave him a crystal. Something told me, give him this quartz. It was tiger's eye. It was a little skull, tiny little skull. And I gave it to him, but he wanted apples. I said, no, whatever you want, don't be shy. He said, I want apples. I'm a vegetarian. Could you bring me blah, blah, blah? And I said, can I buy your boy cookies? And we were doing good. It was in California. We were doing good, so we did it. I'd rather do that. We need to be more in line with that, to be honest. So compassion is saying, I'm glad it's not me. I'm so sorry for your loss. And empathy is going, I'm walking with you, brother, sister. I'm walking with you. And I'm going to walk with you until I can't walk with you anymore. And I'm sorry. And I wish I could do more. And you don't deserve this. And you are loved. I care about you. Many of us care about you. You're not alone. And I wish I could make it stop. And I'm trying to find ways to do it. That's empathy. And empathy is sobbing. It's literally saying, I need a break. I need to sit. And it's okay to say, I need a break. I really can't see this anymore. Today, I'm going to give myself a break. That's not selfishness. That's saying, I'm about to have a nervous breakdown, or I'm about to lose my shit. I'm about to go to the job and tell my boss to fuck off, and you don't want to do that because you're so enraged. And so sometimes you got to back away. And then you come in with new solutions. Like today, for example, okay? I went on DeepSeek because be careful with ChatGPT. I caution you. DeepSeek is not as good, I'll be honest, but it's good, okay? And so I'm using DeepSeek, and I'm asking for it to tell me what kind of letters I should send to the Hague, ICC, and the ICJ, right? And different types of letters. And to be honest, that shit helps. The constant reposting, the constant speaking out, the constant videos, sharing, protests all over the world has helped change the consciousness of many people. But many people, and this is what's dangerous about Zionism and Christianity, is that they're all saying the rapture. I started this live talking about the rapture and how it's a lie. It was written in 1830s. And my question is, how is it that we never knew that? How is it that the popes 1830s? And my question is, how is it that we never knew that? How is it that the popes... Frozen. Yes, it took a moment. Sorry about that. Listen, I'm going to let you go. I want to thank you all for being here. Let me read your comments. It closes off people that would help. How to handle that when someone is asking for help and they smear your gift or you hustle your gift? It's hard with scammers, people that dress homeless. They don't want a banana. They want dollars. Oh, no. Every person I've ever given to, I'm glad you said that. Every person I've ever given to wanted food, actually. They wanted food. And I always bought the food, and they were very grateful. Psychic tarot readings, Akash. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading my own shit. Oh, you're back. Yeah. So, no, everybody I've ever given anything to, yeah, they loved the food. They wanted the food. And they were so grateful. Sometimes all we had would be huge gallons of water, right? And we would give it out in the summer in California. And I never had a homeless person go, yeah, fuck off, I want money. They always said, oh my God, water. Because water, water is water. And so, yeah. But anyway, just trust me. It takes a while to recognize, but you can tell. You can tell, you can tell people that are hustlers. You can tell. You can look at their eyes. You can look at their the demeanor, the way they're standing. Some people, like I remember asking my son, what do you think? He'd go, no, he's here for a reason. So we'd be like, okay. And yeah, it's judgment. Yeah, fuck discernment. Judging. We made a quick 20-second judgment on a certain person. And I've met women who, I remember meeting a few women who were homeless, who I was surprised had French accents, Russian accents, Ukrainian accents. They got hurt. They got in a situation, and I would never ask them really anything. There was another woman who looked. I called her the little nun. She was French, and we started talking French, and I would give her whatever I had in my wallet. With her, she wasn't full of shit. You can tell. There were certain people I would give food to. It was almost like the universe would say, today, Tony, you have money in your wallet, and this is the person who needs cash. And then today, Tony, you're going to give this person sandwich, water, juice. Like I would give a lot of people a lot. I would give them coconut water because of the electrolytes, or certain types of waters to get their electrolytes. I would give them a banana, believe it or not, because of the potassium. I'd say, you need to eat this for your potassium. It's hot as fuck out here. And they would start peeling the banana and eating it right away because they realized I was right. Yeah, I need that banana. I need that drink. So, you'll see. You'll be divinely guided to the right people. Trust me. All right, sending you much love on your journey. I will talk to you soon. I'll upload this on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. And I'm so sorry for that little blackout for a minute. That was weird. All right, take care. Namaste. Be well.